What's up guys, it's Eric from Rare Candy and welcome back to another entry into our Testing Ground series where we take a look at some new deck ideas that a new set gives us and we kind of build some rough deck ideas around them just to start testing with. So today we're back with a couple more Guardians Rising decks, the new set that's coming out. And here on the left I'm going to be playing Trevenant with Vileplume, and then on the right Marcus is going to be playing the new Alolan Ninetales GX. So should be an interesting matchup for you guys, hopefully. It is worth noting too, this is going to be the new Trevenant from Guardians Rising, not the old one that is currently legal back from Breakpoint, I believe it is. So that is going to be my new archetype. And over here Marcus is going to, looks like he has a Glaceon EX and an Alolan Vulpix in play. And here looks like he's just debating where he wants to attach to. Kind of the trade-off is Alolan Ninetales GX is a much more versatile and heavy-hitting attacker, but at the same time Glaceon can kind of lock me out of the game since Trevenant is my main attacker, which is an evolution. Since Glaceon does have that pesky Crystal Ray ability, or I'm sorry, attack that prevents damage done to it by evolution Pokemon. But here Marcus is going to Sycamore after he played that Shaman. And let's see what he gets. So we're going to see a Dive Ball come down, maybe see an Alolan Vulpix. Okay, that seems okay. The only other thing I can think of, he needs to get a Manaphy EX down this turn as well. That way he can retreat for free. Okay, so he does have the Manaphy, that's good. I believe I see an Aqua Patch in his hand as well. So actually not too bad of a start from Marcus. Here he's just going to shuffle because of that Dive Ball. And he's going to do 2 Aqua Patches. Okay, so yeah, definitely a solid first turn from him. Looks like he's going to opt to attach 1 to the Vulpix and 1 to the Glaceon. And end his turn. So definitely a solid first turn. Playing down some item cards before the item lock comes down. And here I'm in a Trainer's Mail, grabbing a Float Stone. So this is the, item lock Vileplume. So that's what I'm trying to do here is, just dig through my deck, set up a Vileplume to turn off items for both players. It looks like I'm debating what I want to discard here. It looks like I'm opting to discard a Sycamore and a Timer Ball with this Ultra Ball. And, I'm not sure what to grab here. Maybe a Shaman. That seems okay because I have a Gloom in hand. I'd like to try to dig for a Forest of Giant Plants if possible. So that seems like a good move. Here I'm just taking a look through my deck just to see what all is in there, what's prized, etc. Because I have a Gloom in hand. If we can hit Force of Giant Plants and maybe like a Phantump or something to start powering up Attacker, that would be good as well. Okay, so I do have the Forest. And here it looks like I'm debating attaching to the Shaman, but it's just going to end. Seems okay. So yeah, hopefully I can get down ideally a Phantump, a Trevenant, and a double Colorless Energy to knock out this Vulpix. That would be a great way to start the game. Okay, so I will be able to get Vileplume out, but here I have an Ultra Ball, it looks like. And let's see what I opt to go for. Looks like I'm eyeing down a Tapu Lele because Marcus is powering up this Glaceon EX. That's probably what he is going to be going kind of aggressive with. So I want Tapu Lele as a way to actually attack it since Tapu Lele is not an evolution. But Tapu Lele is also cool because whenever you bench it, you get search your deck for a supporter. So I just grabbed a Sycamore. And in hindsight, I think I probably should have not discarded that Level Ball. I think I should have, since I was going to get a supporter either way, I should have discarded maybe that N. That way I could still use the Level Ball to get a Phantump down. Here Marcus is going to get rid of my Forest of Giant Plants. Okay, and so let's see. He's going to Shaman to grab a couple more cards. So let's see here. Marcus won't be able to attack this turn just because all of his attackers need at least 2 energy, but we'll see what happens. So I get a Phantump. That's a good top deck. And I'm not sure. There I go. I didn't draw 7 at first. So here. And actually, I can't bench the Trevenant just yet. I don't want to force a giant plant. I didn't catch this until later. But just trying to figure out what I actually want to do here, because I can keep attaching to this Tapu Lele. The problem is Alolan Ninetales is problematic because its GX move for 2 energy, you move all damage counters from Alolan Ninetales onto your opponent's active. So if I keep attaching energy to do more damage, it might just come back to bite me. So here I was really conflicted what to actually do. And also, for you guys who are unaware, Tapu Lele's attack is Energy Drive. It's basically Lugia EX's attack. Does 20 times the amount of energy on both active Pokemon, and you don't apply weakness or resistance. Here looks like I'm gonna attach the double Carlos energy. So right now I'll be hitting for 100. Okay, so it's gonna put the Ninetales at 110. Here he's gonna heal it with the Rough Seas, going down to 80, since Rough Seas lets players heal 30 from each of their lightning and water Pokemon on their turn. Okay, so it looks like Marcus is just going to keep powering up this benched Ninetales. So let's see. I really don't know what else he's trying to get here. But here he's just going to retreat and probably use Alolan Ninetales' first attack to snipe 50 damage. Okay, so what is the play here? That's what I'm wondering. And yet again, I'm in that same situation. I can, attack into this Ninetales, but then the energy just gets, all the damage just gets moved right back onto me. So that's what's really scary about this Ninetales. It's if you're not going to knock it out in one hit, it just moves all the damage off of it. It's kind of like Mega Mewtwo, but you don't need a stadium to do it. And here I was just super conflicted because this Ninetales is just such a versatile attacker. So for no matter what, I think this Tapu Lele is going to go down. I'm thinking maybe I should just attack into the Ninetales and force it to burn its GX move early. I don't know. I don't think there is a good play for me here, unfortunately. Here it looks like I'm just going to retreat into Trevenant. And I have a Trevenant break in hand as well, and I could evolve into that. And okay, so Trevenant, for you guys who are unaware, his attack does, you look at your opponent's hand, does 30 times the number of trainer cards, so I'm doing 120. And here I almost kind of wish I would have done the... Ooh, and this is actually a cool play from Marcus as well. He's going to Lysander up Tapu Lele and use the GX move to move the damage onto it. So, yeah, Marcus is taking an early lead here, it looks like. I'm going to evolve into Trevenant Break on the bench, and I kind of want to save it for the right moment, because Ninetales can knock me out no matter what. So I don't want to really go aggro with Trevenant Break, because that's the only one in the deck. Yeah, I want to kind of wait and save it for a possibility to use it. But here I'm going to Lysander up Glaceon, because that's going to be the big threat on the board right now. So I'm going to do 152. I was just one trainer card short of knocking it out, so that was a little frustrating. But, at the very least, I do have another double Carlos energy left in the deck. So if we can draw that, we can knock this thing out with Shaman. But if I remember right, my hand is pretty dead, so I'm going to be in top deck mode for a couple turns. Maybe I should have Lysandered up the damage Ninetales or maybe Manaphy to take a guaranteed, easy prize. I'm not sure. But here Marcus has a Hex Maniac, so that's going to turn off my Vileplume's ability, actually all abilities, for the next turn. So it's kind of cool too, because I can play down some of these item cards that are in my hand and thin out my deck a little bit to hopefully increase my odds of drawing into something useful here. So Marcus, it looks like he's going to Ultra Ball. Looks like he's debating on a Kukui and an N. So let's see. Let's see what he decides to go with. I'm not sure what he's trying to get. He might just be trying to play out some of these trainer cards from his hand. That way Trevenant can't hit for as much damage. So he's going to get rid of the Kukui and a Water Energy. So it looks like he's saving the end, maybe just in case he needs to play a supporter on his next turn. And here, I really don't know what he should grab out of his deck. Just if he has any Pokemon, just grab anything, just because it'll thin it out of his deck and increase his odds of drawing into something more useful. So he's just going to grab himself another Ninetales, again, just to get it out of the deck. Okay, I'm not sure what else he can really do. He's done... I think he's gone through all his dark patches, but here he's going to Versus Seeker because he knows after my turn his items are going to be shut off yet again, so he needs to play this on this turn while he has a chance. Only downside is, you know, with Versus Seeker, you normally like to save it and play it on the turn that you're going to use it, but now he's trying to think, well, I don't know what Eric's going to do on his turn, so I don't really know what I should pick. He could get Hex Maniac again to shut off abilities, but I don't really see that benefiting him too much. So here he's going to just grab Lysander. That seems fine to me. And here he's just checking everything I've gone through, probably counting my double colorless energies. Okay, so let's see. We'll probably just see a Crystal Ray. Yep, so he's going to do 70 damage. And I top deck a Gloom. Not what I want to see, but on the plus side, I can... you know, I can thin out some stuff from my deck. I have that Level Ball, so I'll grab myself another Phantump. I have an Ultra Ball too, but unfortunately I believe my other Tapu Lele is prized, because I do play 2 in this list, so otherwise I would have definitely liked to have done that. And yeah, you can even just tell I'm like a little conflicted here. I'm like, well, what do I do? Okay, so we're gonna bench that, and then just use Trevenant's attack for no damage. I could have retreated, but at the same time, you know, I just don't know. I really don't know what the right play there was. I guess I just wanted to look at Marcus's hand, if nothing else, because I can't do damage. I was like, at least if I attack, I get knowledge of everything that's in his hand. And here, I really need to retreat this Vileplume, I think, because Marcus has... Oh, and here I just retreat. I do think that was actually a big misplay on my part, because Marcus has a Lysander in hand, and, you know, after this thing goes down, he'll be at 2 prizes, and that means Alolan Ninetales can actually take a knockout here. And I top deck DCE finally. So I think maybe in hindsight I should have retreated into a Shaman, since Glaceon can't even knock that out in one hit anyways. So I can take a knockout here finally, but I think it's too little too late. Here I'm going to Ultra Ball. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it, just because... I know Marcus has Lysander, but I guess I forgot about it. I guess I was just so excited to see double colorless energy. Here I'm going to grab another Phantom just to thin it out of my deck. Let's see. I do have Trainer's Mail in hand as well. And I mean, I can play it, but again, I don't really think there's anything in particular that I want to go for. I mean, I can get the Floatstone, but again, there's nothing that really makes a difference. I really need an N, if anything. I don't know if there was still one left in my deck or not, but I really needed that to prevent Marcus from taking a knockout here. But here, I'm just going to Sky Return for the knockout on the Glaceon, and then Marcus can just Lysander up that other bench Shaman to take his last 2 prizes. So Marcus is going to take a pretty convincing game 1. You can see just having access to his item cards really, I mean, increases chances of winning. He got, I believe, 2 extra energy in play turn 1 just because of having his item cards. He's able to get down a couple of extra Pokemon, so very important to win the coin flip against these Vileplume decks. But luckily for me, I do get to decide to, you know, who goes first on the second game, so I'm going to obviously choose to go first and try to establish that Vileplume lock as early as possible. So I feel like if I can do that, it'll slow Marcus down enough to where I can start putting on some pressure. Yeah, and that's the thing too, against the against Ninetales. Ninetales is such a versatile, strong attacker. I think it's just really important to get the first hit against it if possible. You know, while it still only has like one energy or something like that. So let's see what happens. Okay, and I don't have any basics, so I am going to take a mulligan. Marcus is as well, so that's cool. Neither player gets to draw an extra card. So ideally, probably want to start with a Phantom. That would be great. Or even Oddish really isn't the worst thing in the world either. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, actually start with an Oddish and a Gloom in hand and a Forested Giant Plant, so definitely looking to be a solid first turn. I don't have a supporter, but I do have Trainer's Mail, so. Okay, Marcus is going to start with a Glaceon and a Manaphy, so that's not too bad. Here I'm going to grab Sycamore off of this Trainer's Mail, so I was happy to see a supporter for sure. I'd love to get an Ultra Ball down, that's the big thing, just because otherwise we're going to have to discard some energy here, and I really don't want to discard my DCEs, but we're probably going to have to here. Okay, so I do get Float Stone, have the Forest, have the Gloom, and then we're just going to Sycamore all that energy away. And cool, so I do see an Ultra Ball. That means we are guaranteed to see a Vileplume here. Okay, I see an Olympia, a Level Ball, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to discard Olympia and Trainer's Mail, it looks like. And I have a Level Ball in hand, I could play that as well. So that's what it looks like I'm going to be eyeing down here. Okay, so I'm going to play a Level Ball while I'm in the deck as well. So probably going to grab a Phantump and then Vileplume off that Ultra Ball. And then we actually have a Tapu Lele in hand as well. So we can grab a supporter for the next turn as well. So you can see why Tapu Lele is such a good card. You know, a lot of these Vileplume decks in the past have played things like Tauros and Lugia EX as just kind of like generic one attachment attackers. And Lele fits that same, you know, that same type of role, but it also boosts your consistency thanks to its ability. Here I'm going to use its ability. I was hesitant about playing it just because I was like, well, I can wait to see what Marcus does to choose what supporter I want, but I think Sycamore is just fine. I don't think the other card in hand really matters too much. And then I'm just going to pass over to Marcus after that. So here he has an energy for his Glaceon, and he's going to play Rough Seas to bump my Forested Giant Plants, which I'm fine with because I have one to respond with as well. So he's going to Kukui and just pass. I'm okay with that. So here I'm going to Sycamore, having to get rid of another energy, but I really want double colorless energy here. That's the big thing. And I do whiff it, which is unfortunate. So giving Marcus some room to get back in this game is not what I want. And here I will have another horrible Sycamore. I'm going to have to discard 2 Lysanders and my last Olympia. But, you know, we have to dig for that double colorless energy, and I do hit it this time, so that means we can attach to Trevenant, and Manaphy is actually weak to Grass, so we can probably take a one-hit knockout here. So here we're going to use Trevenant's attack, forget what it's called, but 30 times the number of trainer cards does 120 times 2, so 240, knocking out that Manaphy. Okay, and now Marcus only has this one Glaceon. Here he's going to Lysander my Tapu Lele and swing on it for 20. I'm actually fine with that because I don't have to burn a double colorless energy to retreat. And here I'm going to evolve into Trevenant Break just to prevent a 2-hit knockout from Glaceon, and we use Energy Drive to do 80 damage. So Marcus is going to play Hex Maniac, shutting off abilities for his turn and my turn. So this is going to hopefully allow him to get maybe an Ultra Ball or something else to really get back into this game. And this is a crucial turn for him because if he attaches an energy or I attach an energy, he just loses. Because Glaceon has 80 damage on it. It only has 170 hit points. Here's going to Ultra Ball, grabbing a Shaman. And the unfortunate thing is he knows he can't play it, but he needs it for next turn. If he has Rough Seas, that would actually be a big card here as well, because that would prevent me from taking a knockout. So I couldn't see what all was in Marcus's hand, but he really needs something to prevent me from knocking out his only Pokemon this turn. So I have to see what he opts to do. Okay, he's just gonna second bite for, 40 more damage. Okay, and putting a Float Stone down. I have all this stuff, but I think I just have a Psychic Energy in hand. All I have to do is attach the Psychic Energy, and that'll be game. So that way, Energy Drive does 100 damage, knocking out Glaceon. And then we'll go on to the third game in the series. So you can definitely see how having Vileplume on the first turn makes a huge difference. Just because, Marcus on his first turn in the first game, he got to play down all these item cards, he got to attach extra energy thanks to Aqua Patch, Ultra Ball, Dive Ball, etc. But this game, he really couldn't do much. He was kind of just floundering around trying to get set up under this item lock. So, but luckily for him, he will be able to get to go first in this game since he lost the last one, which I'm not excited about because I saw what happened last time he had items. So we'll just see what happens though. Okay, mulligan yet again. I don't know why I'm mulliganing so much of this deck. It plays like, I think 11 basics, so just a little bit good old-fashioned bad luck, I guess. But yeah, I really don't know what either player can do at this point to adjust our strategies. We kind of feel like we both know how to play this matchup. It's just a matter about getting set up for your opponent can. And here I have two kind of bad starters to start with. But it looks like I'm opting to choose Tapu Lele to start with over Shaman, just because it's a decent attacker. Okay, so Marcus is going to get down an energy on his benched Alolan Vulpix, and he's going to play Dive Ball, maybe grab a Manaphy. So that's good. That'll give all of his water Pokemon free retreat with its, I believe it's the Aqua Tube ability or something like that. I believe that's the name. I should say free retreat as long as they have a water energy attached to them. Okay, I see an N in hand. I think I saw a Rough Seas in there as well. Here's just going to end, refreshing both our hands to a new set of 6 cards. I'm okay with that. I don't remember liking my hand in that opening anyway, so I'm happy to take it. So the big thing I think for Marcus is getting to use his Aqua Patches before item lock gets established. The Aqua Patches and Choice Band, because Choice Band is actually a big card here. We'll see if he does manage to get it down. So he's going to grab Versus Seeker just to have an end for next turn, just pass. So I'm actually okay with what Marcus got accomplished for his turn. But here I'm going to grab Force of Giant Plants off Trainer's Mail. That's pretty much exactly what I want to see here. And I have an Ultra Ball. So here I'm probably going to grab a discard of Gloom and then Vileplume. And the reason why I'm okay getting rid of Vileplume is because we play multiple Vileplumes and we play Revitalizer in the list. And to be honest, I really don't want to get out a Vileplume in my opening hand, because the deck is still littered with so many item cards that, especially if I were to just get down this Vileplume and Sycamore, I might draw into a bunch of stuff I can't even play. So I would prefer to draw through my deck a bit first before getting out the Vileplume, maybe getting a Float Stone down, etc. Here I'm going to Sycamore, getting a fresh hand, and okay, so cool, it actually worked out okay. I would prefer to get more trainer cards in my hand before, or I'm sorry, more item cards before I get the lock, but it's okay. And here I'll get the Vileplume down, and so Marcus will not be able to play item cards. Well, actually, neither player will be able to. And we'll see what Marcus decides to do. He's going to use Alolan Vulpix, his attack. It's pretty cool. It's one of these new free attacks, costs 0 energy to do, but lets him search his deck for any 2 Pokemon and put it into his hand. Okay, and then here I'm just going to end both players. just because I think I had some evolution pieces I didn't want to get rid of, and also we saw Marcus got to search his deck for some cards, so we want to put those back in and prevent him from using them if possible. So here the big thing I really need is double colorless energy to take a knockout here. That's going to be a very, very important card. So let's see what ends up happening. Okay, do draw the double colorless, that's good. Do I get a Phantom? That's the only other thing I'm kind of missing, is getting like a Trevenant setup. And it looks like I'm debating on something, but I think the only thing I can do is attach the DCE. Okay, but I am going to play down the Oddish and Gloom just to get them out of my deck. I really don't want a second Vileplume, to be honest, because it is a big bench sitter liability, but I do want to get down the Oddish and Gloom just to get them out of the deck. Since they only have a 1 retreat cost, I'm not too worried about them being Lysandered up or anything like that. Here Marcus is going to end, and here's a situation where I'm actually glad I did play down the Oddish and Gloom, because otherwise they would just go back into my deck. And especially now that I have Vileplume out and I can't play item cards, there's going to be a lot of already kind of like dead cards taking up my deck. So I just kind of want to minimize that if possible. And here, I don't think my hand looks quite as strong as I'd like it to be. If I had to force the Giant Plants, it wouldn't be too bad, but... So let's see what happens here. Marcus's Alolan Ninetales is finally powered up, which is a little bit scary because it can start to put on some pressure. So it's going to do 160 with its main attack. I forget what it's called. So it's 10 short of knocking out my Tapu Lele. So here I'm going to use Shaman. I got to force the Giant Plants. Attaching a Psychic Energy, it looks like, down to Trevenant. And here I'm going to do Energy Drive for, I believe it is 80 damage. Okay, so Marcus is going to attach another energy. And what's he decided to do here? Not sure what's in his hand, but he'll definitely be able to take a knockout no matter what. He can just do 50 to the active. But here, this is actually a really super annoying play. He's going to Lysander up my Gloom and then snipe the Tapu Lele for 50 because Ninetales' first attack lets him snipe 50 anywhere on your opponent's field. So this is really problematic because I'm going to be unable to actually attack this turn. That's really big. If I really wish that Psychic Energy had been a double colorless energy, because then I could have just grabbed Olympia with this Tapu Lele and got out of the active spot. But here I'm just going to end. So, yeah, I just need energy this turn. That's going to be a big one. Okay, so let's see what we get here. Okay, I do get some Psychic Energy. Beyond that, really don't have too much to work with, though, which I'm not at all excited about, to be honest. But here, I'm just going to pass just in case... because I don't want to retreat this Gloom and then Marcus Lysander it back up, so I just want to keep it active. I'm okay even if it gets knocked out, it doesn't bother me. But here Marcus is going to end both of us, and I am ecstatic because my hand was trash. Okay, and I do get a double Carlos energy, so that's good. No supporter, which is very annoying, but... So I'll have to see what happens here. Not sure what else Marcus really needs. He needs maybe an energy attachment, so he does have that. And he's just going to snipe 50 on the Tapu Lele. And here I have some interesting decisions. So I can definitely retreat this Gloom no matter what, but the problem is Marcus has a 3-card hand, so I won't be able to knock out this Ninetales with Trevenant, like guaranteed. There's just no way to do it. And then Tapu Lele, if I attack with that, he's just going to knock it out in one hit. So honestly, I'm thinking I should maybe attack with Shaman here. I kind of like the idea of doing that. So I'm definitely retreating. Discard the energy, but here you can just see how conflicted I am, trying to decide what to do. here, yeah, it looks like I am going the Shaman route, so I do like this. I want to kind of whittle it down enough to where I can take a one-hit knockout with one of my main attackers. And here I promote Vileplume, just since it does have a float stone, and I also am kind of banking on Marcus to attack into it and knock it out. I would really love that. And unfortunately, Marcus does get Rough Seas, and that's actually really big here too, I think. Because it kind of takes that play away from me in terms of whittling down this Ninetales a little bit. So, and also, I was also really counting on him to knock out the Vileplume. That way I could play down my hand a little bit as well. So it did not happen. And here you can see I'm back thinking, like, what do I do here? Here I'm just trying to see if I can draw any cards with Shaman, potentially. So definitely a very stressful situation. So do I can't keep going the aggro Shaman route just because I don't have a forest of giant plants to get rid of Marcus's Stadium. Otherwise I'd be content with that, actually. So I think since Marcus is trying to like whittle away at this Tapu Lele, I think I'm just going to go aggro with that, because if I do, it kind of makes those last two turns of him sniping it like for nothing. So I think that might be the most efficient way to go here. So unfortunately though, Marcus can just heal all of this energy off, or I'm sorry, all this damage off with Ninetales' GX move. I believe it's Ice Path GX. But here he's going to Rough Seas first though, going down to 120. So I definitely think that's the way to go, is to just heal off the Ninetales, because that way it keeps its energy and heals him entirely. Pierre's just going to do the main attack, and this is something we didn't catch till like a turn or two later. We were like, oh wait, probably should have used the GX move. So as usual with these testing rounds videos, guys, these are a lot of times our first, second, third times ever playing the decks, so expect some misplays. Since we're still, a lot of times when we record these for you, we're still trying to figure out how they play and all that stuff as well. Here, I'm just going to promote Trevenant. And looks like I'm going to Shaman for 1. And then just use Trevenant's attack. So it's going to do, was it 120? To knock out this Ninetales. And now we're actually back in the game. I have to concede, if Marcus had healed himself off of this GX move, we would have been in a terrible situation here. But now all he has is that Vulpix on the bench with 1 energy. So what is he going to do here? So he does have a Shaman. Okay, so he has a Hex Maniacs. That's cool. He can shut off abilities that allow him to play down some of those trainer cards. And that'll actually make my Trevenants do less damage as well. So he's going to grab a Sycamore off the Trainer's Mail, maybe for next turn. And I'm actually okay with that. If Marcus wants to keep getting item cards or trainer cards in his hand, that'll just make my Trevenant do more damage anyways, so I'm totally fine with that. So Marcus is going to play his Aqua Patch, powering up his Alolan Vulpix, and he has Ultra Ball, so he can get rid of Manaphy and a Versus Seeker, getting out Ninetales, and he's also reducing my damage output as well, so definitely a good turn for Marcus here. And I believe that's just going to leave him with, what, like 1 or 2 cards? Oh, just the 1 Sycamore in hand, so Trevenant won't be really doing too much, but I think I have Trevenant Break in hand, so if that's the case, I actually think I'm still okay. Okay, but here luckily I can play down some item cards. I can play this Trainer's Mail, grabbing an Ultra Ball, and here I really wanted a Shaman. That was going to be the big thing for me, because I think one of the only ways I can win at this point is if I take multiple knockouts thanks to Trevenant Break. So let's see what I opt to do. I should probably... I know I have Level Ball in hand. I should probably play that. I have Ultra Ball. So Level Ball, going to play that. What is in the deck at this point? Just going to grab a Phantom. I don't know if I even need to bench it or not, but because to be honest, I think I'm out of energy. Yeah, I didn't even see one in the deck, so this one Trevenant really has to go the distance. In order for that to happen, that does mean I'm going to have to take some sort of like multiple KO type of thing with Trevenant Break. So here I'm going to Ultra Ball, getting rid of an Oddish. And I did not see the other card. Looked like some other sort of trainer card. Here I'm just going to fail the search. Just want to play these. Oh, okay, I got a Shaman. I cannot play it this turn though, just because he did use Hex Maniac. Here I'm going to put down another Floatstone. And what to do here? That's what I'm really wondering, because I can't really go aggro Trevenant until I have a Lysander. That's just the big thing here. Because if I do use Trevenant or Trevenant Break to knock out this Wishy-Washy, Ninetales is just going to come up and knock out my only attacker that I'm going to have for the rest of the game. So I really have to have Lysander and Trevenant Break in order to win. So I'm going to have to wait until next turn, I think. Pure Marks does have the Water Energy. So yeah, that's what I was saying. If I would have just knocked out the Wishy-Washy, I would have just lost immediately because of that. Well, I wouldn't have technically have lost. Marcus would have had one prize left, but I would have had no way to actually do damage. Okay, so Marcus is going to bench Wishy-Washy yet again. So for you guys who are unfamiliar with Wishy-Washy, it was a card from Sun and Moon. You can, if it's in play, you can pick it up back to your hand, but you can't use that ability the first turn it was played down. That's the only downside. But it's kind of cool in this Ninetales deck because, you know, if you discard your energy with a Ninetales like this, you can usually just retreat for free into Wishy-Washy, Aqua Patch a couple times, attach to repower up the Ninetales, and then return Wishy-Washy back to your hand. So that's kind of what makes it cool sometimes. And here, I'm going to get out a Vileplume since Marcus did knock out my last one. And so, looks like I'm going to attach a Psychic Energy to the Shaman, evolve into Trevenant, playing down the Shaman. So I want to keep the Vileplume in hand for just in case we hit a Trainer's Mail or something like that. I do hit a Level Ball, so I might consider playing that. And then we're just going to end. So the big thing is I really just need a Lysander here. That's I just have to have that in order to make this type of play that I'm talking about work. So I have a couple things going for me. Unfortunately, I did not hit it from the looks of it. But here, luckily, Marcus did have to discard his energy to knock out that Ninetales. So that is going to allow me an opening to get a prize on that Wishy-Washy and start putting down some damage. But here, Marcus is just going to heal off the water damage with Rough Seas. That's why he didn't put damage counters on those Pokemon. But here, Marcus, he can do 50 damage somewhere, so he only needs to take one prize. So I think he should just do it to this Trevenant, probably. I think that would be fine. So where's he going to put it? Okay, he's going to do the Trevenant. That works for me, because I don't like the idea of putting on Shamans just because I could potentially use Sky Return if I had energy. I don't think Marcus knows I'm out of energy, but... So I'm on kind of a one-turn clock here. And here I almost did like a cute Olympia play, but it wouldn't have mattered in terms of the amount of turns Marcus would have needed to take a knockout. So here I think I just have to Sycamore, to be honest, because I know I have Lysander left in the deck. So after doing this, I think I had 2 cards left in deck, and that is enough time to actually take a knockout. So here I'm going to bump Marcus' Stadium and use Rough Seas yet again. I just have to really hope he doesn't have energy to take a knockout here. It's going to be the big thing. And here he does not have anything else. So cool, that is going to allow me an out. I can Lysander up a Shaman. And then I can keep spreading around it because basically this would force Marcus to have 2 energies in order to retreat. So he obviously can't do that under item lock, so he can attach an energy to his Ninetales if needy, but he can't retreat the Shaman at the same time. So here it's going to put his Shaman up to 90 damage, and then I'm going to use Silent Fear yet again to finish off taking the game here. So definitely a super close match. You know, it could have gone to either of us in the end, but I think that one misplay did hurt Marcus there, not using the Ice Path GX move. But again, that's why we do these videos. This kind of takes you through our own testing process and seeing how we come up with these new decks that we try out. So yeah, misplays happen, especially in these types of things. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We also did a recent testing rounds video showing off Tapu Koko GX and Lycanroc GX, so if you want to see that one, I'll put a link to that as well. And also stay tuned because we are going to post the deck profiles for both of these decks if you guys want to see what they look like. But as usual, guys, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our merch over at rarecandytcg.com. If you can pick up something to help support the channel, it'd mean a lot to us. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.